Morning.
It is.
I had a very clear intention to be sitting here.
Obvious.
Yes. Been looking at purpose lately, and I've been listening to CDs, and I get that, knowing the rules of the game make the game more fun.
And that's the purpose. Fun. You're done.
I am.
Is that shocking? That it's for the joy, for the fun, for the exhilaration of life? Is that shocking? Esther noticed something the other day. They travel. They are rarely at home. They are almost always in their bus on their way to something wonderful like this. And Jerry just has project after project that he just cannot wait to dig into. And for a long while, as Esther learned to play with Jerry, she did everything in her power to help him get his project accomplished and off his desk. She carried a notebook around. She'd wait for him to suggest something. She'd write it down, and she would move heaven and earth to achieve it. She got rid of that notebook years ago because she discovered that he does not want an ending to his projects. His goal isn't to get his work done because he likes doing his work that brings him joy. And it was a shocking revelation to Esther that she'd never known anyone who did what he does because he likes doing it, and then because he likes doing it continues to do what he does. It was a whole new concept to her because Esther always did what she had to do. It started with cleaning the house when she was a little girl. There were certain things that had to be done, especially when she went to her cousin's house. Her cousin, who she always wanted to play with, had a very taskmaster mother, and they were not allowed to go play together until a certain number of things were done. And 90% of every Saturday was spent doing the work before the play could begin. And then you go to work. Most everybody talks about their off time, their work time, and it gives you a sort of distorted view. And we're wanting you to understand that when you get it in your vibrational craw, that everything is for the joy of it, and you decide that if you can't find joy in it, you will not spend time in it. But that doesn't mean that you will stop doing everything. It means that the things that you are doing, you will look for the joy and the fun within them. Once you start lining up with that, you'll line up with Source, and you will have clarity and empowerment and stamina and vigor and life flowing through you in a whole new way. And then you can do anything you want to do. There are endless subjects that you can apply that collective consciousness to, you see. Nothing's fun if you're not tuned in, tapped in, turned on. If you're not lined up with energy first, everything you do is hard. But if you look for the fun first, if you look for the joy first, so you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, now whatever you turn your attention to will be life-giving, you see. Yeah. That was good, wasn't it? So now what?
Well, the part of me that's resisting it thinks there should be more.
What? More purpose? So let's say that you're living some life and an idea of something occurs to you softly. But like most people, instead of thinking about it and why you want it and trying to imagine it, most of you think about where you are in relationship to it. So you sort of contradict the energy. So you don't really let it get flowing. So it doesn't gather any momentum. So when you want it but, you don't get any momentum going, and then you begin feeling sort of stagnant. And it's sort of like the stream's beginning to flow, but you're not going with it, and the stream's beginning to flow and you're not going with it. And that's that feeling of like, I need more purpose. I wish I could find something that I could turn my attention to. And we're not kidding you. If you could just talk about what you want, no matter how mundane or insignificant it seems in comparison with other things you have going on, or that you see going on around you, if you could talk about why you want that a little more and stay focused upon it a little more, you'd gain a little momentum that would call you still further. Don't be hard on yourself. In other words, you are where you are, and we think we've convinced you that the stream is flowing a little bit, and that's what we spent the last several minutes wanting to do anyway. And so we're talking about this stream flowing, and first thing, you sit down and you say, but don't I need purpose? As if we hadn't been talking for the last several minutes about this stream that is flowing, which we want you to understand is your purpose. We think sometimes what happens to humans is that you are so upstream oriented that you can't find a downstream purpose. Downstream purposes look too frivolous. I need an upstream purpose. I need a cause. I need something important, something that I could write a book about. Nothing you want's upstream and everything that you want's downstream. Really, it is.
Well, in all the work I've done, every time I look at purpose, I always come back to, a state of beingness, just, loving, learning, growing, and then
well, if you
it's
keep
like,
coming up with the right answer, why are you probing further?
Okay, so here it is. I'm sitting here because I need confirmation that I'm on the right track.
Well, the fact that you need confirmation means you're a little off the track.
I got it. I get that.
When you understand that you're looking for that sensation of joy, what you're actually saying is, I get it that my guidance is what I'm reaching for. And when you look outside of that feeling for confirmation, now you're asking the peanut gallery. And we are even including ourselves in the peanut gallery. You're asking something outside of you to confirm the rightness or the wrongness of your direction. And everything that we're about is wanting to turn you inward to that awareness of that feeling. We think that you don't understand the swiftness of the current. And sometimes without committing to, you sort of dangle your feet in. And if you and the current sort of gives you that uncomfortable sensation where if you would just let go, the current would take you, and we promise you, you won't drown. The current will take you to the places that you want to be. As you're flowing, you'll start recognizing more and more of the things that you've been asking for. If you could get a bird's eye view into your vibrational escrow, we could not even find words to describe the magnificent things that you've created. And we think you're trying too hard to micromanage it, and that's why we think the best question that has ever been asked of us, you ask when you first sat down, what is my ultimate purpose? That's what we heard you say, and that's why our answer, flippant as it may have sounded to so many of you, is the ultimate answer that you must reach for. The purpose of your life must be for the joy of it, for the fun of it, for the exhilaration of it. And when you're willing to turn just for those reasons, then this stream will take you to all of those very meaningful, purposeful things that your life has helped you carve out. In other words, there's much that's going to be not only magical but meaningful for you. People will watch you in the creation that is before you, and they will not call you a frivolous creator. When we say fun, we're not sending you to clown school. We're not we're not talking about frivolous things. We're talking about it's fun and joyful to do those meaningful things. But when you're fixated on meaningful things for which you have no conscious awareness of when or who or how it's going to unfold, then you get yourself in contradiction to your own energy. You got to relax. You got to give yourself a break.
Right.
We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. It is delicious to come together with those like you who are coming to know who you are.
Is it possible to do a rampage of well-being for us?
You have come forth from your non-physical perspective into what we see as the most dynamic and perfect of environments anywhere. You have come forth into the leading edge of thought. And you did not choose it lightly. You chose it deliberately and powerfully, with all of the defining power that you as a source energy being have. And you said, I will go forth into this magnificent physical time-space reality of great variety and diversity, for I know within it I will find so much that I can turn my undivided, meaning my source energy, attention to. You said, I know the beauty of this place. And in this place of diversity, the beauty that I'm speaking of is not only the stuff that I think I want, that I would like my nest to be feathered with, but it is the stuff that I don't want that helps me to more explicitly define what I do want. I know that I'm a creator and that I need an environment, a palette of paint, if you will, from which to paint. I know that I need an environment that helps me to focus my mind and choose. And I've chosen in this time, in this body, under these circumstances, this time-space reality, because I knew then and I know now that it will evoke within me clear desire, and that the larger part of me has now, there it is again, become it. I understand, here in my physical body, you say, that my work, my only work, is to come into alignment with that expanded being that I am. And when I do, the look of this place is almost beyond verbal description. As I walk amongst the people, I see the variety of who they are, and I see the power and cleverness of who they are, and I see even more that which they are becoming. And so, in the war, and in the confusion, and in the argument, I see not just improvement, I see a new world erupting, because I see the expanded version of life as a result of mass consciousness's individual focusing in its individual perspective. I stand in my physical body, you say, and I'm living my life as broadly as I can. And I'm squabbling about salt, and I'm worried about this, and I'm worried about that. But I am defining who I am by reaching for source energy's perspective relative to each thing that I live. And as I allow myself to come into concert with that which is source, as I live the details of my day-to-day life experience, I let myself in on the benefit of all of those generations that have gone before. And most important, I let myself in on the benefit of that which I've created right here, right now, in this body, in this physical time-space reality. As we watch you from our non-physical vantage point, the appreciation we feel for that which you are cannot be accurately spoken in words. But we want you to know, as clearly as Esther can find the words for us to express to you, we want you to know that everything that you are living is causing an expansion of that which you are, and therefore an expansion of that which we are. And we revel in that expansion. We never for a moment mourn you're not coming along with us. We never for a moment, frankly, even notice that you haven't come along. We do not look back and wonder if you're there. We only look in our undivided fashion at that which you have carved out, because we know that as we look at that which you have become and hold a steady gaze upon it and offer a vibration only about that, that if you're listening carefully enough, you will catch the call of source and you will begin moving in the direction of it. And maybe some of you will move closer in the direction of it today, and maybe some of you will not move there until you croak and come all along, but every single one of you without exception will come along with that which we have created. And in all of that is joyful expansion. You did not come into these bodies to have growth. You came into these bodies because growth was inevitable and you wanted to enjoy that growth. The basis of your life is freedom. You did not come to make something happen. You came forth because you knew the happening would be inevitable, and you knew you would enjoy the leading edge perspective of it. Nothing is broken in your world. Nothing needs to be changed. Nothing needs to be different. And yet everything is constantly changing, because it is the inevitable nature of that which is eternal. So as you decide to go with the flow of your eternal nature, and as you stop nitpicking about the way in which you go, and you just understand that you cannot help but go, and you stop comparing yourself to the way others are going, and you stop criticizing them because they're not doing it right, or criticizing you because you're not doing it right, and instead you see yourselves all as adding to the contrast that is adding to the expansion, in time you will find yourselves, as we find ourselves, in love with each and every one of you. And when you love others as we love you, you're going to remember what source is, because you will be it. There is great love here for you. And for now, we remain eternally incomplete.
Thank you.